Today in our 2006 Jeep Commander, we'll be installing the Derale Series 8000 plate fin transmission cooler kit, part number D13503. Note, we'll be using the Derale snap-in radiator fitting to make our connection, part number D13035. Now let's go ahead and begin our install. First, we'll need to gain access to the transmission cooler lines. To do this, we're going to remove the front grille assembly. To remove the front grille assembly, there are a total of 6 push-pin fasteners across the top that'll need to be removed. To remove the push-pin fasteners, we'll use our flat-bladed screwdriver to pry up in the center of the fastener and then remove the fastener completely. Once we have all 6 removed, we'll go ahead and set them aside and then pull up on the top portion of the grille as we pull out away from the body of the vehicle to release the hook fasteners underneath. Now we'll go ahead and set the grille aside. Next, we'll remove the air inlet for our air filter box here on the passenger side. To do this, we'll need to release the fasteners underneath using a long flat-bladed screwdriver. I'll go ahead and pull back on the fastener as I pull out on the air inlet tube to release it. Now with the tube out and out of the way, we'll go ahead and identify our transmission cooler lines. As you can see, we have 2. One will be the hot or pressure side, and the other will be the cool or return side. In this application, to test and find out which one will be the pressure or return line, we'll go ahead and start the vehicle and run it till it warms up. As it warms up, the hot line will be extremely hot while the cool line will still be cool or lukewarm. So be careful as the vehicle warms up. Now for this application, the hot side or pressure is the bottom line and the return side is the top line, which will also be the side we're going to connect to. Now to make our connections with the manufacturer's line and cooler, once again we'll use the adapter part number D13035, which will be our new fitting to go into the radiator. To remove the old line from the radiator, we'll first pull back on the plastic cover that covers up the connection point. Using a flat-bladed screwdriver, I'll gently pull it back and slide it up the line out of our way. Then we'll need to remove the C-clip that's locked into the line through the radiator fitting. We'll use our flat-bladed screwdriver to get underneath of it, pry it up, and gently remove it, setting it aside for reinstallation later. Now with that out, we'll go ahead and pull the line out. As you can see, it will completely remove from the radiator. We're not quite ready to make our connections yet, so we'll go ahead and put the line back in to help keep the fluid in and dirt, dust, and debris out. We'll need to access the AC condenser. So to do this, we're going to remove some fasteners to make it a little easier to move the condenser around so that we can install our fasteners for our new cooler. We're going to remove a total of 5 fasteners, 4 that go around the outside edge of the AC condenser, 2 above the bumper and 2 below. And then 1 on the inside near the filler neck of the radiator. Now with our fasteners removed, you can see we have more access to the AC condenser. Our next step, we'll need to prepare the new Derale Transmission Cooler. We'll take our cooler and remove the 2 rubber caps off the cooler nipples. Then we'll start installing the hose. To install the hose, we're going to use some transmission fluid as lubricant, putting it on the 2 nipples, and then sliding the hose over the nipple. Before we slide the second hose into place, we'll go ahead and slide 2 clamps onto the hose. Now we're ready to go ahead and install the other side. With both hoses in place, we'll go ahead and put our clamps in position and tighten them down. Now with our cooler prepared, we'll go ahead and install it into and on the vehicle. To get it inside, we're going to go underneath the bumper and slide it up into position. Once in place, we're now ready to start installing our cooler fasteners. We'll take the push rod, feed it through the transmission cooler, then through our foam pad. Next, we'll go through the AC condenser. Once we're partially through, we'll pull the rod down so that it doesn't poke into the radiator. As we pull it down and gain access to it, we can slide the clip on and start pushing it into position till it's secured with the back side of the manufacturer's AC condenser, securing our transmission cooler. That'll complete the first one. We'll go ahead and repeat the same process with the other 3 on all 4 corners of our transmission cooler. Now with all the push rods in place, we're going to go ahead and cut off the excess from the push rods with a pair of side cutters. Next, we're ready to start making our hose and line connections. Starting with the manufacturer's line, we'll remove it from the AC condenser. We'll then run our hose up to it and go ahead and make a cut, cutting off the excess. Once we've figured our length of hose and cut it, we'll slide a clamp onto the line and then the hose over to the manufacturer's line, making sure we feed the hose far enough over the bubble or flare in the manufacturer's line to secure the clamp on the other side of the flare. Once we have the hose in place, we'll go ahead and tighten down the clamp. Next, we'll take our new snap-in radiator adapter, part number D13035. We see how it'll fit the AC condenser, replacing the manufacturer's line. For now, we'll go ahead and remove it and install it onto the hose. Once again, to make it easier to install the adapter fitting, we'll put some transmission fluid on it for lubricant. We'll slide it into place and then install the clamp and secure it. Next, we'll go ahead and take the plastic cover for the snap ring and install it over the adapter fitting. Now we can take the fitting and install it into the AC condenser. Once the fitting is all the way seated inside the AC condenser, we can reinstall the C-clip. We're now ready to go ahead and reinstall the manufacturer's hardware to re-secure the AC condenser. Now we'll go ahead and check our lines to make sure there won't be any excessive rubbing between metal lines. As you can see here, we'll need to slightly alter the two lines so that they don't rub together. Once we get them twisted apart, we'll then secure them with a black zip tie. Then I'll cut off the excess from the zip tie to clean up my install look. And now we're ready to test our new cooler. We'll go ahead and start it up and bring it up to operating temperature. We can even bring the RPMs up to raise the transmission pressure. And as we do this, we'll go ahead and check for leaks. Now we've verified all of our connection points, we'll go ahead and reinstall the airbox inlet tube. Next, we'll reinstall the grill. And fasteners. With everything reinstalled, this will complete the installation of the Derale 8000 plate fin transmission cooler kit, part number D13503, in conjunction with the Derale snap-in radiator adapter, part number D13035, for our 2006 Jeep Commander.